Hello and welcome back to the BWN Podcast. Today is episode 8 and I'm joined by a very special guest today who a lot of you in the BWN audience would know quite well. It's Mr. Phillip here. How are you doing?
Good. Pleasure to be here.
I knew I'd have you on at some point and it was only a matter of time. We've got a fair bit in the pipeline coming up. So it was certainly worth it. And we're going to be talking about something, not really personal, just very relevant to us, really. We're going to be talking a lot about that today. But first of all, just a couple of details to get over with sort of the normal proceedings of things. Kind of one last time, which I talked about last week. We're going to be opening today's episode with one final discussion about entertainment coverage. Because, as I said last week, which I think it was the first time I said it, I'm going to be really closing off all of my entertainment coverage kind of proceedings in these episodes from today. So today will be the last episode where I do it. And I think I've said that about 2 episodes ago. So we're going to wrap it all up today. We've got a long list of films to quickly fly through to talk about that have come out in the last few weeks or such. But yeah, let's get right into it. But first of all, how are you all doing today? I hope everything's going all right at home. It seems like time's moving quite slowly at the minute. That's what I found. I feel like it's kind of the summer goes really quickly, but right now we're in a kind of a time of year where things are moving very slowly. I feel like I'm living very much in the day to day, and it has felt that way with these films, which I'm going to cover. It feels like a lifetime ago when I saw the one at the top of this list, which is only the 24th of Jan. I think maybe a day or two after. So it's been a long time coming to kind of talk about all these and finally get them out the way. But no, we're going to get onto that right this second. So, we'll go through. I don't know how much knowledge you'll have about some of these, but you may have heard of them, you may have not. But we'll just go through. So, first of all, we've got Flight Risk. It's a new Mark Wahlberg one. Are you aware of that? Vaguely. That's actually come under a lot of scrutiny, and rightfully so, because AI was actually used on it. A lot.
Yeah. So a lot of drama comes up with a lot of these films that have AI, or at least rumoured to have AI in them.
I shit you not, the opening shot of a motel in the snow is not real. It's not real. And then it cuts to inside the motel, and the opening scene plays out, and it's full on like student film, what you'd expect, because it's literally inside that one room, and that is the opening scene of the movie. And it's like CG when they open the door to the outside of the car park, it's clearly CG behind them. It's like done on a set, and the opening established shot is clearly AI. It's insane. But I believe that's what it is. It very much looked it because I was keeping an eye out for it. Apparently, there's it was primarily used to aid special effects, which I suppose is probably what it's going to be used for in time to come. But overall, Mark Wahlberg does a fine job. It was just a bit cheap, really, and
with the CG and the AI. You're gonna expect that
obnoxious dialogue and characters as well, though. So it's B movie written all over it, and it's not the best thing to have Mel Gibson's name attached to be honest, because I'm pretty sure he directed it. Moving on, a very interesting one actually, with camera work which I haven't seen in a long while. Steven Soderbergh's Presence. Have you heard of that one? That one, I think it's a neon film.
Much, I don't think, but
it's a Lucy Liu's in it, and it's that one with a house where the camera's kind of being very observatory. So it's kind of like looking at the family from it's very ghost. It's a ghost sort of story. So it's almost as if it's shot from the perspective of a ghost.
Right.
So she looks around, oh my God, I can feel something's here when the camera's right in her face. It's very much done that way. Good, really. Really good. For example, like someone could be, there could be there's like a somewhat abusive subplot.
Right.
And when he's about to do something, like I think he spikes a drink or something. When he's about to hand it over, the table shakes and knocks the drink onto the floor.
Yeah.
So like, oh, what the fuck was that? It's like very, it pushes the boat out in a way that was quite appealing. But it's not. It's I feel like almost somewhat forgettable. For a father character though, the father character was great. That much I remember from that. Hard Truths. I actually caught up with a lecture with Nick had good things to say about this, who was on the pod early in this run. He had good things to say about this one. It had a very abrupt ending, which I didn't understand, but a very outrageously funny British movie, which is just it was just very British because it was very just dire and pessimistic and depressing. But it had that our humour. It was just great, really. And then capping off January, we had 2 more. We had Saturday Night, That was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Have you heard of that? It's Jason Reitman's new one.
No, I haven't. But
Really, really good. Like, really good. Dylan O'Brien, do you know him from Maze Runner?
yeah,
It's him and a couple of others. There's it honestly it's so good. It covers the 90 minutes before the first ever Saturday Night Live goes on air.
oh, fair.
So it's just absolute frantic chaos of
Yeah.
they're just gonna pull the plug, and and the producers are literally in there in the control room going, if you can't get this together, we're just gonna play reruns. When they say we're going live, we're just gonna put a tape in.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna play your show. So it's literally but they're banking on them to fail for some financial reason or whatever.
Yeah,
But they actually pull it out of the bag, and that's what gave birth to it. And I think it's
Yeah.
really apt with it being 50 this year.
Mm.
It, honestly, absolutely kick-ass. I loved it. Really, really loved it. Then finally for January, the last one to talk about is Companion. Now, have you heard of this one? It's the one. What's his name? Jack Quaid or something. He's the one off The Boys.
Yeah,
He's in it. It's basically it's about kind of a robot girlfriend.
yeah. No, I did see the trailer for that.
That
yeah.
one. The teaser was amazing, and then the main trailer just gave the entire thing away,
I mean, that will happen with these kind of films.
which I'm wishing they didn't. But the thing is, there's so much more to it than that. It was just really, really nuanced for like what kind of a cheap shot movie it could have been.
Yeah.
It was really good. And the scary thing is, again, what I was saying about Flight Risk is you're on the wave now where these stories are starting to become more relevant out of the woodwork, because this is the kind of world that we
Yeah.
live in. You've got Afraid. If you heard of that one, that was in August last year. It was the one with it, like the AI home assistant. There was a couple of trailers that aired in cinemas for that one.
Vaguely.
But primarily Megan.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
You've got Megan in that one, and then followed by this. It's just it's weird. It feels really
And there
weird.
was recently that one with Megan Fox as well. I'm trying to think. The robot housewife.
Rings a bell.
Yeah.
I don't know which one you mean.
But again, the more of these films are coming out that are about sort of like the risks of AI and
Yeah, it's just really, it's really kind of the more look, if these stories are getting told, it's clearly relevant,
yeah.
and it's really striking a chord. It was very, very well done, very well done. It actually made you root like it was a human. It's so realistic. It strikes that balance between, do you feel compassion for something even though it's not real?
Yeah.
It's really well done, really well done. So now moving on to February. This one actually, I'm struggling to blur the line between Saturday Night and this one because it's also so heavily involved about TV. The films kind of blur together. It's September 5th. This film is about the terrorist attack at the Berlin. I believe it's Berlin Olympics. Somewhere, I think it's a German. It might have been Munich. I don't know where, but somewhere in Germany, it was the Olympics.
Munich sounds right.
And it was sort of it was a terrorist attack, I think, involving Israelis, I think. And essentially the sports team of I think it was ABC, and the sports team of ABC are the only people within the vicinity in able to cover it. So they like stick a camera on the roof and like video on the balcony, the hotel balcony. It was in the Olympic Village when it happened, and they're basically covering it on the front line. So it's very much from the perspective of the control room of like the director kind of directing and how to get it. And the sort of the moral quandary of like, what do I tell the camera guys? Are we allowed to show someone getting shot on live TV? It's a thriller and it's really good. But the tonal shifts between Saturday Night and that are just completely different. But I do struggle to see the difference between them because they're both about such similar things.
Yeah,
just
sort of a control room.
Just different tones. Yeah, it's because again, there's not much in the controls. It's also on the set as well when they're just rehearsing in Saturday nights. But it's still about TV. So it's two films back to back with such similar vibes. But I do believe Saturday Night was very much a release last year for the award season. So it's speaking of award season, I will be saying at the end of this what kind of caps out that season coming up in terms of releases. Carrying on in February, we had two releases to talk about on the 7th. The first of which is Dogman, DreamWorks' new film. I thought, look, I think this is the first time I can confidently say this. I think this is a Gen Alpha film if you ever did see one. Like to the point where even we would find it stupid.
Was this the one that was based off the comic book?
Yeah, it looked like a Captain Underpants spin-off.
Yeah. Because I used to read those books. I will say, but I do get this sort of like, especially a lot of the films nowadays that are geared towards kids are going to be geared towards kids that aren't in our generation range anymore.
It was I'm now starting to understand the point of why future generations just don't find our humour funny.
Yeah.
And not like older generations, I mean. They just don't. I'm starting to understand that now. Because it's like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, this just isn't humour. It is just stupid. It's not. I think most of our humour was based on, what was it, like shock factor. I think like meme culture, everything we like, Vines, like 9 seconds, quick content. I think everything, it's shock factor. Like, you know, like early cuts of perfectly timed screams. Like that screams. That's what our humour is based on. It's not written jokes anymore. It's odd. But this is the first film where I realised, I'm like, look, this is not geared for us at all. I'm like, obviously it's not demographic wise, but I mean, like, this is not. Some of these are jokes I chuckled at, but otherwise just utterly stupid. It makes no sense at all. But no, it's fine. I'm sure they'll love it. Love Hurts on the other hand. Yeah, that was great. Ki Hai Kwan. Yeah, I think I'm saying that right. Have you seen this one advertised?
No.
This one, it's a Valentine's Day action movie with starring him. That is just great. She's got, like, I think an evil brother or anything that runs like the mafia, and he's now become a real estate salesman or something like that. Right. And he gets back into the game for his old ex-girlfriend who was in that mafia with him, or in that crime organisation or whatever with him. And he she pulls him out of the woodwork and is like, I want you to be the man that you used to be. And basically it is quite John Wicky, but it's really, really fun. Fair. And again, you've seen him in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like, his martial arts are there. Yeah. It was just great. There was like a kitchen fight scene. It was just kick ass. So yeah, again, I do highly recommend that one. That was great. If you can still catch it in cinemas by the time this comes out. Now we're very much heading into the last three here, the Valentine's Day releases. Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy. My God, how fantastic this was. I know you've never even considered going to see this, but I'm not joking. Don't knock it till you've tried it. Bridget Jones 4 slapped. This was really, really good. Really good. Everyone's on top form. Hugh Grant's hilarious. Chiwetel Ejiofor is great. Even I think Leo Woodall, I think that's his name, the new male protagonist. He's great, right? I did think that relationship was odd. Like, the fact that she's going out with a 29-year-old, that's odd. That's very odd. I don't really know. I get that it didn't work out well for them in the end, so I'm kind of happy that's the way it panned out. That I didn't agree with. Everything else, great, absolutely great. Probably one of the best endings for a B franchise I can possibly think of. Fantastic. And another one which was absolutely brilliant, Heart Eyes, and I did not expect that at all. Have you heard that one? That was kind of like the counter-program in Valentine's Day choice. It was the 18-plus horror movie. No. It just gory as hell. It was but the couple dynamic with the two leads, it was brilliant. It's like one of the most honestly written, genuinely hilarious, like sort of our survival situation romances I've seen. It was just brilliant. Really, really well done. And for a slasher, it was just it ticked all the boxes, and it was also hilarious. Honestly, that was that there. I think I would have said that would have been like that's the one that won Valentine's Day if Bridget wasn't so good. But technically Bridget was the 13th in this country in the UK. Heart Eyes was a Valentine's Day release on top of our final film, which is the last one we're going to be talking about, which we actually can, because both of us have seen this one. Let's talk about Brave New World, Philip. What do you think?
It was a film that the stunts, specifically the fight scenes, really did wow me. As a person who loved Top Gun, specifically the new one as well, I loved the action scenes. You felt the fact that this character wasn't superhuman, so you felt it almost like the lack of the Captain America-ness in his hits, but he still found his own way to do it, and his ability to use his wings really did sell the action for me. Him cutting through stuff was just super cool. But I will say, the plot holes took me out of it every once in a while, and it did frustrate me a bit.
By this point, it's been 2 weeks, so I think it's safe. Yeah. What do you mean?
It's minor things where, like, so one thing that they did get right is how they brought Bucky in, because now obviously with him in Thunderbolts, he'll be he's a congressman now. He can't just go kicking around all the time. But there's so many things, like, for example, do you remember when Sidewinder caught up with him again in the car, blew him up, whatever? The police car comes around, and all that it's used for is a bit for him to turn away and turn back so that Falcon can get the jump on him. The police never get involved. The car comes around, and that's it. They're just like, well,
I didn't even
Falcon's
think of
getting
that.
Involved. We don't need to get involved. We're just going to stay in our car and wait.
What did you think of Stones?
I think they could have done better with the design. I think they just went too much of a...
Did you see the concept art? It looked very different. He had hair.
Yeah.
It looked very different.
The final design was weird. And I think when you make a super intelligent character, you need to find a balance of making them smart and still making them do the things you need to the plot and not making it too long. Because obviously Marvel has the issue of too much exposition. But there were points where, like, he wasn't being all that smart, I think. And it was really showing. Like, for example, how he found them in the training facility to stop Cap from finding out about what the pills are doing. A, that was pointless because it didn't do anything anyway, because he got himself arrested immediately afterwards. B, how did he find that place? Because he didn't have the government facility, so he just hacked his way into finding it, apparently.
Yeah.
It's just, there's so many leaps that happen in the film to make the film fit in the time frame that it just took me out of it at times.
Two things I'll follow on for with this then. First of all, let's address the elephant in the room. The big red elephant in the room, more specifically. What do you think?
I like the design. I think it has the Hulk feel to it. I liked that. And also I liked when he came out of it, how drained Harrison Ford looked. I think his performance of the character was really good. What I will say though is I think I would have liked to see the original actor in that role. Because again, I hated Thaddeus Ross so much.
You are aware why that isn't the case, yes?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I was going to say.
Rest in peace.
No, I was going to say because if you didn't know, I was like, I just want to let you know there's a reason why it couldn't be him.
Believe me, yeah. Again, very tragic.
Yeah.
Obviously, was coming up in age, but it's always tragic when you lose a good actor like that. And God, did I hate Thaddeus Ross, specifically in Civil War. If you're Team Iron Man, I just cannot agree with you personally. Like, how do you blame the Avengers for New York? How is that the Avengers' fault? Like, what is the logic path for that?
Yeah.
Simply.
That's the biggest moral quandary that you say, do they just take over the world, or do we probably face a number of casualties due to the Avengers pushing back?
And not to mention, it's not even that. What pisses me off the most about that is they were going to nuke New York anyway. They were going to nuke New York anyway.
I've never thought about that before.
And that's the Avengers' fault for casualties.
We ought to have more Marvel discussions.
Exactly.
This is brilliant.
I could talk for days. Jesus.
That is insane. I'd not even thought of that before. But no, the last thing I will say, though, which I think is obviously very necessary to talk about, we are rapidly approaching the end of Phase 5, which I believe will end 3 days before Phase 6, which is ludicrous.
Yeah.
Because Ironheart, the finale, will be on the same week as Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
It is coming rapidly to the end. We are now, I would say, certainly I'd say we're in now progressing into well past halfway through the saga.
Yeah.
How do you feel in the grand scheme of it? Not really looking back, but more so, where do you think this positions the MCU going into it? Because we knew this thing was really shot to hell.
Yeah.
It was going to be a messy film either way. I personally think Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four are going to be great.
Yeah.
This was the one I was worried about.
And also, it came out alright, I think.
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
I think it's okay. I don't think it's great, but I think it's all right.
Yeah.
I really do. I don't think this was bad. But I just feel I think this positions it okay.
Yeah.
I think it's a case where they've served the tennis ball up with no payoff. And they have been doing it since 2021.
Yeah.
And they need to absolutely bring the hammer down with Doomsday. Because not only do they need to tie up all the story threads to basically introduce the climax of this saga, but they also have to somehow justify Doom in the same movie by RDJ no less.
One thing I will say, just to add to the sort of Marvel discussion, is the timing of Marvel Rivals coming out and how much that's boosted Marvel as like a franchise again. With the Fantastic Four movie coming out and the Fantastic Four characters that are coming out in the game, I think there's a lot more hype coming. So I think they have momentum now. So all they need to do is get these like characters that audiences love, and get these films that, like, again, people still talk about Winter Soldier. People still talk about Guardians of the Galaxy 1. Like, they need to make more of these films that just you'll remember 5-6 years in the future.
Yeah. No, of course. So, yep, in terms of entertainment coverage, I think that will just about do it. I'm not saying I'll never talk about entertainment coverage in the ever again, but in terms of general platforms, I don't think I will. I think if I do, I'll either bring it up just casually, or I will bring it up in the sense of have a specific platform for it. Otherwise, I think this is another domino that's fallen in terms of me covering this sort of stuff. I'm now not going to feel obligated to go to the cinema and say all these things anymore. I will still do it. But purely out of my own leisure, and we'll see how things go from there. But otherwise, yeah, again, I hope you've kind of liked this segment sort of thing on the pod until now, but that's kind of the end of it. Last note from me on entertainment coverage will be films to watch out for. What's been out in cinemas for a week now, and on the day that we're recording this, it's come out. You have The Monkey. So The Monkey's out right now. I'll be seeing it tonight at the time of recording. I'm really looking forward to it. But today, what you can look for is the only primary film on the 28th of February in the UK. The Last Showgirl with Pamela Anderson will be the final film of this year's UK awards season, and that will be out today. That will just about wrap it up. We're heading into March now in entertainment coverage, but like I say, I will not be talking about anything further from this point. And that will do it. So, thanks for chiming in on the end there with what you were able to comment on. But no, that will just about wrap it up. So, let's get into it. We've got, again, not really personal. We'll try and make it relevant to everybody. But yeah, like certainly relevant topic that we can get into that especially uni students who are, so I'd imagine the primary audience right now of this pod, can very much latch onto. Going right into it first up, we have a startup question, which I'm going to start up with first. And that is, how do you feel about graduating? So essentially, we're going to start, this episode is going to be very much about sort of where do we see the future going. So it could be quite existential. I'll try not to make it too deep. But there's a lot that we can talk about here because essentially, I think me and you have, not fully, we've still got a ways to go, but like at least so far in production, we really have been in the trenches a couple of times.
Yeah.
We've done a fair bit together, so I think it's a good topic to talk about because it's we're past the halfway point now.
Yeah.
Not by much, but we are past halfway. It's definitely one to talk about. So, how do you feel about graduating?
Well, just sort of to latch onto what you are ending there, I always feel that once you hit the end of February, specifically I think after Christmas as well, the year's kind of over.
Yeah.
For the most part. Like, a lot of the cram happens in the first maybe 2/3 of the year. And thinking that we end in May, we're coming up to the end of February now, we're like midway February. We've got March, April, May, that's 3 months. Most of that will be essay writing, major film production that we're doing for virtual production. And that's pretty much it.
And then optional for me because I'm doing post. So that there's a couple of I'm doing a bit more, but it is very sit downy work. It's very like
it's showreel stuff essentially. So it does feel that the year's kind of happened, and there's like and that is crazy to think about. There's just 1 year left, and we're in the world. But I think graduating is a weird, especially when it comes to our industry, because it's so personal, everybody's journey into what they end up doing. Because you could go to uni, not use that degree for a while, and then randomly get back in. You could go straight from uni into a good job. You could go into entry level. You could end up in a different country. Like, as long as you keep fighting and you keep networking, you could end up anywhere. So I think that is what excites me the most. But that comes with the same level of stress because you try plan it potentially, but I still stick to my belief that you can't really plan it. So it's the fear of what is going to happen to me when I leave this place, because this is the sort of training ground of like there is still safety nets to a degree before you go into the big world. Yeah.
What are you going to miss the most about this platform in the sense of like what you're saying about safety net there? You've got a little bit of it. Is that it itself, or is there something else? Like, what is the whole education system? Because I don't know how you feel about this. I really don't think I'm proceeding with the masters. I think this is the end. Like, is this the same for you? Are you out of the system with me on this?
I'm keeping I want to do as much as I can. I think because I have sort of an idea of where I want to be in terms of an end zone. I've got like a couple like things that like if I was there, I would be happy. How I get there, I really don't mind. I've got leads coming out of uni, and I've got where I want to be 10, 15 years in the future potentially.
So you are keeping your options open for a masters potentially.
I don't mind in the end. I think obviously I'm not saying I don't mind in a way of I'm not going to have like input into like trying to do something. I will obviously, but it will be whatever the opportunity that's best for me, and going for that. So whether that is with just making stuff at BWN or potentially a studio job, I just want to keep my options open.
Yeah, of course. This is how would you say in terms of experiences, and everything you've been through right now, at least anyway, how would you say it's really prepped you? Because with that, when that safety net gets taken away, how would you say it's prepped you?
I think the social element is the thing that I've developed the most consistently, and what I've appreciated developing the most, because I had a lot, not all of the technical experience, but I had a lot of technical experience from my college, which I have to thank my time there for that. So I wasn't as stressed when I came to uni about, I have to learn this and I have to use a camera for the first time. I'd done those things before, so coming to uni, I wanted to develop the social element, because I think when I first realized I wanted to go into film, the thing that scared me the most was networking.
Mm-hmm.
Going to events and talking to people, talking about myself, having confidence about that, and also just being able to speak for a while. And even this is a sign that I've come a really long way since I was maybe 16. Because back then, this would have been insane.
Was I the first person you met?
Yes.
Because you were the other way around for me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because essentially there's I believe Umi was it?
Yeah, it was Umi. Yeah.
Umi was, it's essentially sort of a student based social media, and I mean, I'm gonna be real. The probably it's the truth with all this. I'm pretty sure it's no secret that it's basically good for freshers and that's it. But we did use it.
It was me, you, Rodri, wasn't it?
Yes, I actually believe,
because Rodri messaged both of us first, I think. But for some reason, I thought he was a bot, so I didn't respond to him immediately.
No, but it was definitely. I can't even remember specifically who it was. I believe it was. I believe I messaged you and then Rodrigo.
Mm-hmm.
It may have been Rodrigo first, but I do think it was you. I think it was you I messaged first.
And the things, I felt so bad about that, because I think you kept messaging me, so I was like, okay, no, this seems like a real person. But then we all met up on that first day, and I realized, no, the person who messaged me actually was a real person. I felt horrible about it. Oh man, Roger, if you're seeing this, I'm very sorry. I think I did admit this at the time, but yeah.
No.
But we've come a long way since then.
Yeah, he thought you weren't real. No, yeah. No, it was a good service for what it was, and I think and I mean, I think we definitely would have worked together regardless, but I think it was definitely a kickstart thing. I think it's no secret that I would say, the primary partnership I had in 2024's work was me and you, because I think a lot of it did stem from that, really.
Yeah.
So again, like you say, networking has been an enormous part of this, and I think it is a skill that's really propelled us forward. What would you say your biggest fear is about all this? Like, once it's all said and done, once you're out of this, what is the biggest thing that's kind of,
I think effort going to waste. I think having spent the time here, whether it's external, like the world going to shit, as it might potentially be going to shit, which is a scary thing, just existentially, but internally as well, going, maybe not, and realizing that this was a mistake. I think that's, and then obviously as well, I think the biggest thing in any artist is imposter syndrome, thinking, oh, I'm not enough, like I am not good enough. And I think there's definitely been times throughout all of this film course so far that I've just felt that I'm just not, I don't have the skill, I don't have the drive, I don't have the it factor to make it. But again, I think the biggest way I've been able to push through that is just by working on more projects. Because the second I put myself in front of Premiere Pro, as frustrating as that program is, I know what to do, and that does help me with that a bit. I think just being there and physically doing it does help with the imposter syndrome.
I get it all the time. Like, I just feel there's I found that, especially in this online space, I think I'm not just me, but the network as a whole, I think I'm very hateable for some reason. I don't know why. Just people really, really, really latch on to not liking me for some reason, and I don't know why. Like, it's honestly like a trend. There are other people who really just don't. You would think there'd be more cause. You'd think there'd be more cause to have issue with, but somehow it's me. It's always me. And I know that self-talk you always say, it's always me who gets picked on. It's actually true. Like, I do feel like there's a genuine force of some kind where people just don't want, they just completely reject it, me doing this. And my fear is it's a sense of this: is this a barrier? Is this like a wall of ice that eventually I'll break through, or is this just it? It's because the thing is, it's like you knock on fate's door and you either get let in or you don't, and there's very little indication that you have to know whether you are going to be let in or not, and yeah, I don't really know how to emotionally navigate that. I mean, look, I'd be very much lying if I said that I'm not banking like pretty much most of my emotional chips on this panning out.
Mm-hmm.
I've put all of it on the table with this path because I've basically just not as aggressive as rejecting it, but I have very much walked away from industry. I have. Mm-hmm. This is because I was very realistic. I looked at everything around. I don't know how much of this is said. I think I'd be roughly recapping it here. But at some point in first year, I looked at the whole situation and I just thought, nah, it's unrealistic. It's not gonna happen. I'm looking at what needs to be done to get where you need to be, and you know as much as I do, it's the fucking lion's den.
One thing I will say though is, do you think there's a difference in circumstance in terms of where we were both born? Do you think there's a difference between where me coming from London and going to a college in Elstree makes my experience different to you having grown up in Sunderland?
It's not about experience. I think it's about character. I know I can't be in that room with BBC execs, for example, mm-hmm. and navigate that properly, because all I see is two things. I see one, I just see utter brutality. They're not looking at people, they're looking about what you can gain from the situation. Secondly, there's such inauthenticity. I'm genuinely looking when I make connections with people and I work with them, and more so I specifically seek out people to work with. I do it because I want it to be a friendly environment on set where everyone gets along, and I genuinely want to make really communal and great stuff with them. This is not it's not a money making process. Mm. And wherever the path takes me and wherever it takes the network, it's not this was the intention is not financials. It never was. It's about something more that runs so much more deeper than that. But the thing is, in the way the industry, of course, is run by financials, it feels very. I describe this. It feels very beehivey, in the same way that any other industry is. It's very much 9 to 5. You turn up, you do your job, you do your part. It's not. You're not making something special, and if you are, and then, like, let's say it wins an Oscar, or it's a Marvel movie, yeah, you do feel like you're a little cog in that wheel, but it's like it's not, the mysticism's gone, and that's the biggest thing I learned since coming here. Like, film studies should have taught me enough in A-level when I was learning about the theory of it all. I come here and you learn the theory of making it, and now I'm like, no, the mysticism's gone. It's ruined for it's borderline ruined it for us. I can't. This is not. It's not I'm not the wide-eyed child that walked into this when I was 9 doing all this again. It's not that same thing anymore. I'm not making movies with my friends. I'm now trying to think about all these different things, and look, like demographics, target audience, that's fine. I can tolerate shit like that. It's when you get into the realm of is this going to be marketable enough? Is this okay? So we have to tick all these boxes to what's been mandated from upstairs. Like it's when you get into all that shit. And when it becomes like any other industry, it was never an industry to me. It was magic, and the magic's disappearing.
Yeah,
and I really don't like it at all. And I know it makes me sound so naive and so much like a child, but it's true. And it really does. And the only regret I have is maybe thinking, was this the right thing? Because I'm thinking maybe this was never meant to be my career. I was always meant to do it, but maybe it was never meant to be. Maybe from minute one, maybe I was never meant to gauge for industry.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm doubting it now and I'm walking away from it, but it's like maybe I was never meant to follow that route, because in the real world, you're not really filmmaking. You could say you could never turn around and say, I'm a filmmaker. You could say I'm a boom operator, and I turned up 9 to 5, and I probably later hours, obviously, probably even later on set, and I turn and I stand there and I make sure I do a good job capturing the mic. There's no magic in that.
Mm-hmm.
You're a cog in the wheel making something grander. And yeah, you can say, oh, well, you get a director, the magic comes back to you. No, it doesn't. You're in a corporate chain. Think of a Marvel movie. I'm thinking, even Marvel, maybe if you work on a Marvel set and you become a Marvel director, maybe there's not even magic there.
Mm-hmm.
It just, again, becomes a corporate wheel of pushing out something that, yeah, audiences enjoy. And at the end of the day, what you're getting out of it? We thought they were absolute masterpieces growing up. And now we look at it and we think, yeah, Marvel movies aren't exactly cinema. You look at it now and you're like, yeah, maybe you are just making it for the kids. The wide-eyed kids like us who can then grow up and think, oh, look, I want to do that. And then realise, no, that really isn't where the art lies. So it's about paths.
Yeah.
That's what I found.
In the end, you just have to trust your gut, because that is the only solid thing you can hang on to, which is what you feel deep down is right for you, and just going towards whatever that is. And there'll be mistakes, there'll be hard times, there'll be challenges, but as long as you keep following what you think is right, and as well as taking other people's advice, having people there, having a support system, that's the best you can do, really.
Do you feel like an adult?
I think that answer changes day to day. I think sometimes I feel more adult, sometimes I don't feel anywhere near mature enough. So I don't know.
I think almost like a rite of passage, I feel it's going to be the end of this. Because I've felt it, and when I turned 20, I started to feel it. And now I'm looking at it and think, that, like you say, there's some days where it's not even days, it's moments. Even if I'm just walking down the corridor and I feel, and the way I'm just talking to people, and I just think, no, this is.
I think the times when I almost feel like I'm exercising my free will, where I'm like, oh no, I can just enjoy my day in this way because I'm an adult and I have free will, so I can do this. I feel most like an adult. I think the days where it's monotonous and it feels more like college, I think those are the days I feel more like a kid.
Yeah, like I've found this, like when we've been shooting Matthew May Show, and I've basically just been because again season 1's out this year, the reboot of it. When I've been driving to places, where at least 3 of them, that's what I've done. Not so much Beamish, that's really close, but in York, we took the train with. Oh shit! No. I've said these on socials. There's no secret. They're episodes. No, particularly Holy Island in November, and then Winlatter and Keswick this month. In both cases, when I've driven a fair while, is it a mean feat just driving 90 minutes to 2 and a bit hours in a car? No. To me, I felt it was, because driving. I think I'm a decent driver. I'm just a bit stressy at times. That's when I really felt that, where I'm like, no, I want to shoot something. I've got to drive 2 and a bit hours away to do it. I just did it.
Yeah.
And I'm in the car, and it's on the way back. We've wrapped. I'm detoxing. I've got somewhere to be at 6 o'clock. So I'm like going as steadily fast as I can home, and I'm thinking, no, I've just come out for the day and I've done this. I've smashed it. It's incomprehensible, something like that as a kid doing it. It's like your parents take you, or on the very least, if you do something really extreme, you take the train. If you're in your mid-teens, you usually take the train.
I think for me as well, from like a perspective of somebody who doesn't drive, being in a car with somebody your age and being driven by like your friends, for example, is such a like surreal experience sometimes. Especially because when you're a kid, your parents drive safe, because obviously they're your parents. They don't want to...
What you're trying to say about me?
No. I mean, you're one of the safer drivers I've driven with. But, like, in terms of, like, all of the sort of experience I've had driving with people my age, like, it's so different. Because, again, they're not driving unsafe, but, like, they're driving more, I'd say, recklessly, kind of. Like, they speed up more. They, like, tend to, like, hit the speed limit more.
Yeah.
And that's just such a surreal thing to be like, oh, like the cars. Like, it's not just I fall asleep in the back seat and wake up at home after 2 hours when we went to some like trip down the coast or something like that. This is like we're adults and we're driving somewhere kind of thing. So it's just, sometimes it just feels a bit surreal.
How does, well, I mean, this is probably, I already know the answer to this. Does the finance side of this scare you? Because it does for me.
I honestly, I think that's the thing I'm looking forward to most out of uni. Just purely because worst case scenario, I have to take a job that's not on film. I have to take a retail job, as Nick would say, I get a job at Mackey's. Even in the worst case, I'm looking forward to working a full-time job and not having the same scare that you do being a uni student, living in student accommodation, and money always being something that's bothering you. Like, I stay up late worrying about it at times, and it's such a horrible thing to go
so
through.
that's why you're late for morning shoots.
That is uncalled for. That is uncalled for.
You were saying, sorry.
You know exactly why I was late to that shoot, and that was a different reason. But dealing with finance is rough because it's that thing of when you have school for most of your week and you have to go in, you can't dedicate that time to work.
Yeah.
So you don't have the income that's able to support you. So in the end, you're making it whatever paycheck you get, whether it's student finance, whether it is the part-time job you work, and you're just making it work the best you can. But the one thing I've tried to keep to is there was no point me coming to uni if I wasn't going to enjoy it and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted to be stressed and work my ass off and like put all this effort and be no fun to make sure I made it somewhere, I would have just gotten a job.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, out of uni, I would have found a way to network, and I would have missed out on the experience I had at uni, but I would have been more financially secure, and that would have been the
we never would have met.
We never would have met, and I don't regret coming to uni for that reason of like the experiences, having met you, having met all the people I've met, all the experience I've had, all the like mistakes I've made and the things I've learned from. Those have been very necessary for me, and so for that I don't regret it. But if you take away that social aspect, all the like, going out, but also like the going on shoots, the social aspects, making friends, making mistakes, and it was just do the course, get good grades, leave, that wouldn't have been worth it, in my opinion.
No, great. Okay. What's one adult skill? I'm very much going off the shade here. What's one adult skill you wish you had learned in school?
I actually don't have a great answer to that. I think because socializing isn't really an adult skill. And again, the really cliche answer is taxes, because schools don't do a really good job of explaining all of that, which is quite stressful. But I think what adult skills you need, you pick up. Like it is a sort of like hard reality to face of like, you've gone into a situation and gone, I probably should have learned this when I was younger, but I didn't, and now I'm kind of screwed.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not really screwed. What you do is you improvise in the moment. You realize what you don't know, and you pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's something specific that I missed in that element. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't have a good answer to that, I don't think.
I think this is kind of biased to me, so I don't think it really counts. I'd have loved one on social skills.
Yeah.
And I think I needed one for obviously reasons I've said in literally very recent episodes on here.
What I will say though is forcing social interactions. Would you think that would have helped? I'm saying a bit of a rhetorical question here, but
I don't think how. Do you know what? I don't think it is how I react to people, how I interact with people. I think there needed to be some very hard lessons taught to me before life taught me them.
Yeah.
About ways in which people would perceive me, because the thing is, I'm a strong gin and tonic without meaning to be, and that's just the way it is. I really don't mean to be. I don't want to be, but that's just the way it is. And I really wish that I'd been prepped for the way in all manners of life, whether it be life, work, or relationships, where people have how people would take me on board. I wish that I'd been prepared for that, because it's you do internalize, and it's hurtful, and I wish that I'd been encouraged to understand not just boundaries, but also how people might perceive certain actions and phrases in a certain way.
Yeah.
I wish that was something that I'd been taught, really, because I think it would have served me well. Another thing's independence. I mean, what we were saying about earlier about money, it's a case of I feel like I feel my attitude towards work and life, because I, of course, will be doing at least something, even if it's self-employed and even if it's part-time. I'll definitely be doing something, obviously, for a general income.
Mm-hmm.
My attitude's almost like I'm working to work.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows where my calling lies, and again, I'm saying being very hateable. Everyone's doubting that I'm going to keep this up. It's a case of I want to work at the adult world. It's almost like the adult life is like my roadblock in my way. I know that to continue on this adult road, I need a general income, and I'm almost only interested in achieving that so that I can continue doing what I'm already doing now.
Yeah.
Because the safety net has been pulled out from underneath me.
Yeah.
I need to build the safety net is money. I then replace that safety net with a general income. I can continue to doing with all my hours what it is I'm already doing right now.
Yeah.
And try and make it sustainable outside of this place.
And I think the biggest thing with film, the biggest obstacle for that is funding. So finding ways to do that will be the biggest challenge I think BWN will face. Especially while still keeping its ethos, I think will be the biggest thing.
To be fair though, I'm generous with production budgets, but like you know this firsthand, I'm pretty generous with production budgets. But at the end of the day, it's still shoestring.
Yeah,
we spend fuck all on projects. It's about the content. It's about the content. That's it. Really is. It's like I self-finance all of them. I'm pretty generous with how much I spend on certain ones, especially if I want to do them good. But it's again, we really don't invest a lot into it, and I still don't see that. I still say for a good few years from now, I still don't feel like we really have to. We can certainly do that, and we can up the budget in certain ones. We can really invest a lot into, but overall across the network as a whole, I don't think there's any pressure on us. I'd say at least for the first 10 years, which we're 4 years in now. I can at least say for the first 10 years that there's no massive pressure on us to spend a ridiculous amount on actually.
Yeah.
The whole operation in itself. I think if we move on, you've what's this next section? So we have okay. Do you think friendships will change after graduation? How do you plan to keep in touch? I'll check another one. So what's your take on networking? Do you think it's important for success? So networking and friendships.
So when I left college and when I left secondary school, I didn't know what to expect when it came to the friendships I made there, would they last? And weirdly enough, the close friendships I had at secondary, and then when I went to college, back in year 10, went to a whole new school, made friends there, had a central friend group when I left there to come here, and I'm still really, really good friends with them. Like recently, I just went down to Norwich because one of them studying there, and a couple of us went and had a good weekend together. I'm constantly in calls with my secondary friends, playing video games and stuff like that. So, in terms of just purely on a social aspect, I think it is very possible if you find the right group of people, to keep in touch. Because the effort needs to be from everyone, and it needs to continue. Like you don't need, because it's not about need, it's about want. And if you want to keep in touch with people, you will. And while it's probably kind of hard to keep in touch with everybody, for the people who it matters, I think it won't feel like a chore. It'll feel like just something you want to do. And especially when it comes to this industry, having those connections, having those networking things of oh, I was really good friends with this person who did sound, for example, or camera or cinematography or editing back in my uni days. Let's look them up, see what they're doing, and you can rehash that, which is also a very important part of networking, of just having those connections.
That's another thing there. Do you think social media helps or hurts post-grad friendships and connections?
I think it can only help. I think any way to be able to connect in that way is going to benefit. Obviously, the wider issues with social media are the problems that attention spans and this oversaturation, I think, that comes from social media. But in terms of connections, it only helps.
My fear with it is I feel like it's historically I feel there's and I think there's really two ways you can go with this as a person. I feel like I'm the one who I think you're either the person who drifts away, who very casually free living, kind of blown with the wind, who kind of just goes where the wind takes them. And then you're the other side of the coin, which I would say I am, which is I feel like I'm the one that gets left. I'm very loyal. I don't leave people. I'm usually the one who gets left. So my fear is whether it be team, colleagues, whatever, or just friends. My fear is that post-grad people dissipate very quickly. That's my fear. I feel like, and look, that's naturally going to happen with life.
Yeah.
But I mean, more people go than stay. I'm quite worried that I'm because it's a track record with me. So I feel like I'm almost trying to hold on to the moments now because I feel like there's going to be, there's going to be very little contact.
What I will say is this again. I did say it, but I'll say it again because it is just an important thing to, like, if people want to, they will. Like, I suffer through 7 hours on a coach to go down to London because I love my friends. If there are people who are worth keeping and there are people who see the vision and want to buy into it, it doesn't matter if they go to the other end of the country. If they're sold on it, they'll be there for shoots. They'll be there for projects.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the biggest thing of finding those people who you can keep long term, and then you then cycle through the people who are there for whatever season you're in. They'll come, they'll help, they'll be positive members of the team, but they'll potentially will move on to other things, or they'll like find other opportunities, or they just won't gel in the way that you want them to, so they'll have to move on.
Yeah.
And again, the end of the season will of this obviously not necessarily timing exactly with the way you're timing your seasons, but with the end of uni, things will shift, and there's nothing we can do about that. So it's just accepting the change that comes, whatever that change may be, and just building from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I'm gonna see if there's anything left else in this section. One more we can talk about. How do you feel about potentially moving to a new city or country for work? Because I think you're far more loose about this than I am, actually.
I would love to not live in this country. On a straight...
Don't leave me, please.
On a straight No. Obviously, I love the people I have here, like, on a social level, yeah, but just there's so much going on in the world.
Yeah.
This country is a hard pill to swallow. And I don't know. I feel like the 50% of me, 50% of me that's not from here is like crying to be somewhere else.
Do you know what part of me is? A part of me is, like one of them really grave movie attitudes of like, I came here to die. Like one of them. I have that calling, and I don't know if I've said this like at all publicly on the network. I have that calling, and I probably brought this place up with you before. I have that with Iceland, big time.
Fair.
Have I ever said that to you before?
I don't think you've mentioned Ireland before, but I don't think you've mentioned the calling that you have.
Big time. Like let's say like Putin wipes UK off the face of the earth. I'm gone. What? Look, I said this. I think I've said this on the pod. No, like what's going to happen? What's going to happen with Iceland? Who's going to target Iceland? Geothermal energy, it's a valuable resource. Yeah, it might get looted, but no one's going to do anything violent to it. No one cares. It's out in the middle of the ocean.
Well, Trump's in office, so let's not get too...
No one cares. It's out in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing... Reykjavik is a great place. The rest of it's wasteland. It's the most beautiful place I've ever seen. I would fully have like a log cabin with a massive fire in the middle of it. I'd fully just go in the middle of bloody nowhere. You wouldn't find me in a hot country. You'd find me there.
Yeah.
But that's a fantasy. Realism... No, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go anywhere. I've got absolutely no desire to permanently go anywhere. America, the least. I've got absolutely zero. No way.
America would be one of the places I'd consider retiring.
Really?
Yeah. Again, it's fully Nick will say the Americanization of Western media, but there's something about a ranch that calls to me, I think. But also, I think on a more like relevant area, living in Brazil, I think, is one of the things that I need to do with my life. Mm-hmm. On making sure that my ability to speak the language is there. Just going back to a place that is 50% my home. I want to spend at minimum a year, if not a bit longer, just on just hopefully to do film there, but just to live there, to sort of go back to a place that I do consider home.
Mm-hmm. Respectfully, if you ever invite me out there, I will have to respectfully decline.
That is fair.
If I ever go, it will be when I'm greatly successful and with armed guards. I would love to say Christ the Redeemer. I'd love to say I went to Rio the once. That's all.
Yeah,
that's all.
When we're rich.
That's all. Armed guards. That's all. You might sway me with armed guards. That's the end.
That is fair. When the private jet comes,
it's no different. It's no different when it's which should probably be like a group public owned one anyway, because I wouldn't be able to, again it's the whole humble approach. I can't make jokes about private jets anymore because that's not what I'm going for. But it's no, I would under the right circumstances I would love to go to say I did it, but I'm kind of over it now. I'd live with it if I never went to Brazil, but I'd love to say I went there once. Let me think. I was going to say something about it, but I've completely slipped my mind. No, it's it would be nice to go the once. It would be nice to go the once. But I forgot what I was going to say. But no, look, it's great. I've got a couple of places on a list like that. I mean, there's like, if not Brazil, like Australia's one of them. I really,
Australia would be a great place.
Really do. I want to go. And
as in, I'm bringing a weapon with me because that wildlife is insane. But
just find like a massive like meet a ruler long length spider in your room.
Kill it with fire would be my immediate response. I'm not risking it with anything else.
No, absolutely not. No, in a sense, yeah, I would certainly. I mean, maybe not even retirement. Maybe like where I'd go to live there for a few years. Iceland's the only place I've ever been to in life where I'm like, no, I would go there if there was nothing left for me. That's where I'd go.
Fair.
No. Is that any kind of is that a place that you've ever been even remotely interested in visiting?
Oh, I'd love to, like, especially like those sort of like snowy, like sort of wasteland, sort of like Iceland, Greenland, Norway.
Yeah,
those places are just beautiful.
The cold's where you get me. Yeah,
the cold is what I don't want to live somewhere cold. At least not for an extended period of time.
It's the opposite.
Yeah, I want somewhere warm. I want somewhere nice. I want to go to the beach and enjoy myself and not freeze myself every time I leave the house.
See, what he's not telling you is he's really going for the ladies.
Whoa. That is an accusation that I will not stand for. Wow.
It's true, though. It's true.
It's not true. If I was fully English, yeah, you'd be able to say that.
I've seen you in Indie, broski. You just didn't realise I was there.
No, you did not. The day that you enter Indie is the day that pigs fly and hell fucking freezes over. I will not catch you dead in Indie. No offense.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't.
Yeah.
You absolutely would not. Okay.
Slander.
Oh. Right, I actually think that's at the end of the list there. So now we're going to get on to our weekly game. Woo! Okay.
There's a game?
Yeah. I mean, it's not relevant to graduating, but kind of following on from where we started this episode, we have just a generic movie quiz. So here we go.
Right, we got more competitiveness going. Okay.
Right, I got to try and remember to read the things out because now, definitively from this episode, there is no placards on screen either. It's purely audio, apart from the camera system. One more thing I will mention before we run into the end here is this is also another thing, as well as Stop and Entertainment coverage. This will be the last episode, guys, that gets exported in 4K because it's just not worth it with the new camera system, which very much I'd say runs at about HD at best. There's no point. Yeah, this will be the last one that gets exported in 4K if somehow it does register. I think on TV format you can see what sort of resolution that videos are exported in. But yes, it'll be the last one in 4K. But anyway, moving on to the quiz. Let's do it. Let's go. So we have some rules. Here we go. Grab a pen and paper or just keep track in your head. Read each question and choose answer A, B, C or D. Once you've answered all the questions, check your answers against the answer key. Score
Should we
yourself.
note it down on phones potentially?
I don't. I just say how good at and do really. You can if you want. Yeah.
I'm competitive. I want to win.
Oh dear. I've just realised what this is. Our producer is not going to be kind and give me 2020 stuff. Absolutely not. No, she's not. No, she's not. I'm fucked. This is not.
Have some faith.
No, I'm fucked. Look. Right. Okay. In the Matrix, what colour pill does Neo take?
Well, I know the answer to this. Yeah. Okay. Well.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna say blue. because I know it's red or blue. I think blue, because red indicates bad to me. So I'm assuming.
Okay, that's some solid reasoning. Yeah.
Yeah, well, now you've indicated that's wrong. I'm going to say it with chest, so I know I'm wrong after that. But like,
yeah,
that was my reasoning.
Okay.
Bad writing, you know what? I don't care.
What I will say
bad
is
writing,
that was
red,
my dad's favourite film, so I watched that a couple of times.
Because red is bad, by the way. Red indicates bad. So if this is wrong, which I'm wrong, and I know I am, go on, run it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Bad writing, guys. Bad writing. I don't
That's
care.
Not bad writing.
I don't care how much of a classic it is. Red equals bad.
No,
Why would you
red-
take a pill that means bad?
Red means breaking from. The blue is the normality. Blue is the calm. Blue is like accepting the matrix. While red is raging against the dying light.
Red button. Also symbolism, is it? Okay.
Exactly. So, and there are answers every time, so I don't need to know.
I was joking, by the way. I definitely didn't mean it was bad writing.
Tarantino, like, come on.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Tarantino
directed Pulp Fiction. Yeah, great.
Surprise, surprise. Also one of my dad's favourite films. Fair enough.
Wait a minute. You made all the answers B last time. Are you doing this again? Oh, good.
Mm.
What is the highest grossing movie of all time? Right, I'm going to die on this hill and I'm going to get it wrong. It's Avengers Endgame. Fuck you.
It's Titanic, isn't it?
Nope, it's Avatar, but it's Avengers Endgame.
Oh, okay.
Fuck you. Avatar got re-released. It doesn't count. I don't care. I don't care. They re-released it to get ahead of Endgame. I don't give a shit. Endgame beat it. It's fair and square. I don't care.
I'll go to the answer.
It's Avatar, but it is Endgame.
Ah.
Yeah. Don't care. You reclaimed it. I don't care. You re-release your movie. It doesn't count. It's about its initial run. I don't care.
Okay, well, Frozen. Okay, well, now we've gone back to easy. What was this quiz?
Let It Go's in Frozen.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise.
Of course, our female producer puts a Disney princess question in. Bloody brilliant. Right, okay. What is the name of the Hobbit played by Elijah Wood in the Lord of the Rings trilogy?
I'm a really bad D&D nerd because I actually haven't watched the Lord of the Rings.
But never seen it, and I still know it's Bilbo.
I'm getting called out right now. I'm getting jumped when I get out of the studio today. Okay. I can still hear them. I'm gonna go
Bilbo.
to play devil's advocate. I'm gonna go Samwise, but that was a complete guess. Okay, Frodo. We were all wrong. We were both wrong. I'm still getting flipped off.
Like, I know I've never seen it, but I was like, oh, is Bilbo the Hobbit? Is that the difference? Oh, fuck. Yeah, that is the biggest film franchise I've never seen, so I deserve that one. In which
you
year
still haven't watched Home Alone. I'm not going to forgive you that.
In which year was the first Harry Potter movie released? 2001. And I know that because right now, upstairs, as we're recording this episode, Mr. Logan Minto is currently animating Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone when the Lego sets were released in 2001. So yeah, 2001.
Fair. I did not know the answer to that one.
If that was wrong, by the way, I might have actually shot myself on camera.
I would have made an interesting podcast.
Who played Jack Dawson in Titanic?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Imagine if it's Matt Damon. Jesus Christ. Leonardo DiCaprio.
I've always found the time traveler theory interesting about that film.
What? Jack was the time traveler?
Yeah.
What, so he came from the future to the past?
Yeah, to save Rose. That's the theory. Obviously, it's like completely like not even associated with the film at all. It's sort of like a wild,
crazy
theory. But yeah, I've always
like, I know I think like direct to video they've done sequels. Do you think that
would have been the most wild sequel to have? Like,
yeah, there is a Titanic 2, but it's like it's one of them shitty kind of direct to video ones. Is that right? Which famous actor voiced the character of Woody in Toy Story? Tom Hanks. Tim Allen was Buzz.
Right.
Tom Hanks. Yeah, I love how they were like making the answers there, and they had like Robin Williams or like, no, he's the genie. Let's try and catch him out, and then like they couldn't think of a fourth one, so they just put the other guy who played the genie with Will Smith.
The producer might felt a little bit called out there. A little bit called out.
Bang on. Right. Okay. In The Dark Knight, which villain does Heath Ledger portray? Oh, it was absolutely Bane.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was the Riddler. The Riddler.
I was born in the dark.
Oh no. I was molded by it.
It will never die.
Obviously, the Joker. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Arendelle, right? Yeah, no, because
Yeah.
Narnia is more.
Arendelle was
Narnia.
frozen, yeah. Arendelle was frozen.
Atlantica was.
Corona, Jesus. We all lived in Corona at one point.
Yeah, what is the Disney film in the Atlantic? The
Atlantis?
is it just called Atlantis? Yeah, but what's Arendelle? Yeah.
Yeah, Arendelle. Awesome. Right then.
We need to do a Marvel one.
Oh, of course, yeah. Yeah, there's got to be one. In
Yeah, sorry, Christopher Nolan.
There's been a DC one, so stands to reason there'll be one. Who directed the sci-fi movie Inception, of course?
Christopher
Nolan. Right, cool. I'm hoping for a Marvel one. What was the name of the high school in Greece? Ooh!
Because I had to study this, unfortunately.
The name of the high school in Greece.
I believe it's Rydell High.
Rydell High, the high school in Greece.
I think so.
I believe...
Okay, we'll spoil the answer.
You see, I would have went Westbrook maybe, but that's not... Okay, cool. Is Westbrook from a different movie?
Westbrook is a different movie, yeah.
Okay. What was the title of the first James Bond movie? Dr. No? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, when Dr. No, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, Thunderball. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Fair.
Yeah. How do you think about this before I move on? News broke just yesterday that after, I believe, since they acquired it, Amazon MGM, a 2-year-long battle with the Broccolis over what to do with Bond behind the scenes legally, they finally accepted a settlement payment by the sounds of it, which they won't admit, but I'm sure that's what it was. And now Amazon MGM have full control of the James Bond brand.
Fair.
Not the Broccolis.
Amazon are on a hot streak right now. They're doing a lot of good content, so I'm trusting them to do it. But again, it's such an iconic franchise. It's hard to miss, but with companies these days,
they're doing a TV show, bro. They're gonna.
Yeah, but I don't hate.
They're gonna do a series.
I don't hate it being a TV show.
I'm afraid of a TV show not being done properly. If HBO did a Bond series, I'd be all for it. If Amazon, I'm not sure. Disney Plus and Netflix would be even worse.
Yeah. Apple are doing good stuff right now.
If Apple was doing it, I'd have full faith in them.
I need to watch the recent one with Anna Taylor-Joy and...
Do you know what the catch is? You basically got this like Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon pool of like fast food shite. Yeah. Every so often that comes out.
Then you've got banger after banger.
Apple and HBO Max. You've got Apple and Max that are just like...
Banger, banger, banger. It's just, yeah.
Like people are worried about Harry Potter. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like once it's in production, all the casting stress. Once all that's over and it actually goes into production, I fully trust Max to do a good job.
Yeah.
As long as Roland's involved, I don't care. Yeah. I don't care. They're going to do great. In which movie does the character say, "I feel the need for speed"? It is Top Gun? Yes. Is Tom Cruise in Days of Thunder? Because it's Top Gun. It's Top Gun. Yeah.
Is it?
I believe it's Top Gun. Yeah.
I don't remember that from the film. It is? Yeah. Oh shit!
Yeah, because I believe Days of Thunder, he's in that as well. So that's try catching it out. What was the name of the basketball team?
It's the Monstars, right?
The Toon Squad. Yeah, it's a basketball team, and yeah.
Okay, well, there's 2 basketball teams. One's the Monstars, one's the Toon Squad. They're both correct answers.
I ain't seen the first one. I saw the second one in cinemas.
I haven't seen either, technically.
And that will do it. No Marvel questions. Wow. I want a refund.
Honestly.
Oh, great. Brilliant. Yeah, cool.
We know most of
and that'll just about do it. Finn, wonderful. Right, you've enjoyed it then?
Yeah, it's been fun.
No, cool. Yeah, as existential as it was. No,
I don't think it got too bad. I think there's a lot of hope, I think.
We'll be fine, hopefully. We'll be fine.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
That'll be alright. But yeah, we've got a load of Blue Web Network stuff to come before any of that shit happens. So
yeah.
So let's enjoy life while we're ahead. We're only past halfway. We have a hell of a long way to go. We have the entire slate for this year. And we of course have a lot of plans for next year that are slowly starting to take shape. For this year, partnership with me and you, trying to fast forward through. Yeah, briefly, yes. We had Dylan on recently. Game Central is coming and coming fast. You enjoy that? What did you?
I did. Yeah, I'm looking forward. I need to beat Jack because that millionaire performance was ridiculous. I want a rematch and the boxing as well. I'm just.
Luckily, both of those were clearly highlighted. There's on spoilers like Wii Sports and Millionaire have been teased. So we're looking forward to them. It's going to be a really good 10-week run. Other projects in terms of collabing wise, let's think. We have a lot to do on the album. We've got a second album coming up, which kind of going back into the fire again, like we did the variety act, because that was really mine and your thing, really.
Yeah.
Like that was a good shoot. And we've got that still to do. That's going to be happening very, very soon. Music production's going into that pretty soon as well. And otherwise, I believe that is about it for the time being until 2026 work. So yeah, that'll do it. We've got a couple of things on the way from me and Philip with network production, but primarily Game Central, which will, again, as I said with Dylan, will premiere on the 30th of May. So keep your eyes out for that. Yep. That will just about do it. We'll see you next week for episode 9. All I will say is we are trying to get a lecturer on, so we're finally trying to get that sorted again for the first one of March. Trying to get a lecturer on once again. Trying to keep that trend going from the first 3 episodes. But other than that, thank you, Philip. Thank you very much. Yep. And we will see you next time on the BWN Podcast. See you next time, guys. Bye.